So like I said, the part that we'll react with is now the new file. The new file, let me just quickly explain something here before we now proceed from immediately you click new file. This is where you make justice to the kind of work that you want to do. And let me quickly mention something here. The designing that you'll be doing some of the time will be that some of your design will go on online platform. I mean in terms of soft copy. Probably graphics that they want to post on social media platform that they want to show on screen, or probably they want to show on big board, either anything screen. But there are some of the design that you also do that is going for printing. Design that you are doing that is going on printing. Number first thing I first always advise is let precision be your skills. Precision means that if they told you that they are designing banner for, probably they are designing that banner for a big board that will be 10 feet by 6 feet. You can't be designing and now go and design with something that is going on Instagram that is probably working with 1080 pixel by 1080 pixel, and you want them to print that one also for a banner that is going for 10 feet by 10 feet. Definitely your work output that you get will be blur, and even it will be stretched, because you are designing on a square and you want something on a landscape which is stretched. So in that regard, your work will be blurred. Listen, I will explain that one when I open the interface. But what I'm just trying to explain in this regard is that precision must set in when you are designing for, even if you are designing for, if they told you that in social media, you can work with normal standard of social media. And the first one that you should be on, that should be on your mindset is Instagram work with a square design. Though it does not mean that it does not accept every other frame design, but the standard that it requires is a square design, because now we'll be able to show every angle. But when you work with a portrait design, probably 7 feet by 5, no 7 inch by 5, your photo will still fit on Instagram. But whenever you post it, you only know that when Instagram add additional space beside your post, something to this side, something to this side, because they always appreciate square for your design. So for Facebook, you can post either portraits, you can post any time frame. They accept all those ones. It's just recently I noticed them that for the reels, for the video, whenever you post anything that is not landscape, you also fill it up side by side with other like a black screen over there. So some of these social media have a frame that they work with. So note it down. But the part I'm more pushing about is about you printing. If you know that this design that you are designing is going for printing, probably like banner, even if you are printing on clothes, you must know the dimension of the cloth and location where your design want to be on that cloth. Because the moment you export your work out and you send it out to the printer, the way wants to that is how they will print your work out. So you have to be accurate about what is your output to look like. And I always advise people to work with that dimension before they start designing. So let's assume that probably that big board that how many of us used to pass through where is this place called? That challenge as if you want to enter Unity. You people don't used to go out. Okay, to see all those ones that all those ones that they put an entrance of Unilon, you shall know those ones. Kilo de kilo ṣe náà yín. Ta ló plug in? Yeah, those ones that is aboculated you fit on that kan. Promote it. Those banners that we have at Unilon inside the end, most of them are probably 10 feet by 6 feet. And probably you want to design, you even design landscape, probably you design in 1080 by 720, which is video frame rate. I'll be explaining all those rates frame later. Sorry, Jerry. So on the color, we have the grayscale. I say you rarely use grayscale because it's just monochrome, black and white. We'll explain that one when we are going deeper into color. One of the key elements, you can see me doing emphasis on that color, because there's no how you are good on design. If your color is poor, because design to be why extraordinary, it will be poor. I remember the first time, the early years I started designing, That is the first thing that I encounter as problem. Because the moment you send design to people like this, no matter how good the design looks like, sometimes they color combination to compose to fit papọ̀, because you just stand there, but most of them are not giving you response, or some of them are even saying they've given the work to another designer to work on. So it's just that way. So the color part is something crucial. But the most color that you'll be relating with is this RGB. RGB is the most aspect that you'll be relating with, which stands for just red. The R stands for red, the G stands for green, and the B stands for blue. Let me quickly, I'm coming back to that one, but let me quickly explain this CMYK. CMYK, we use it for printing. It's a secondary color. The gap between them is this. RGB works for anything going on digital screen, either your mobile phone, either your laptop, either display screen, either TV, either anything screen. But this CMYK is what they use in printing. The reason why we use that one is because this RGB is woman. Let me borrow the Yoruba. I mean, we don't know Yoruba baby. What about Yoruba? Only local not the Yoruba. Woman dán lójú. That is the Yoruba part of it. As in woman shine lójú. Reason there because when you see the graphics on the phone, you see that whole bright, whole shine. But this CMYK comes with dull color. If you design with it for screen, it will be dull, because the red pigment that you are taking for RGB, if you convert it to this CMYK and you show it on your screen, it will be dull. But why we are working with it on printing is that way. If they are working with RGB for printing, ó máa waste toner tiwọn in what they are printing. But if it's a cool color, it's not the dull I'm saying is not that way. The design will not come out nice. As in kò ṣe pé ó máa tàn. So it will be cool on the design. That's why most time they use CMYK. Even if you as a designer, you design with RGB, the moment you send it to those printers that you want to print, they convert it on their current draw to CMYK before they print out the stuff. And why you have to be curious is this, because yourself as a graphic designer, you must affect this before you send the work to them. If you design with RGB, the color code for red, which is supposed to be something, I will explain that one when we go to color hexadecimal code that we use under color coding. Because this guy, the RGB, don't let me explain. Only those that have been designing can understand what I'm saying before. Under the hexadecimal code, we have two digits for this number. Two digits for this number is that red is having 2 digits, G is having 2 digits, B is having 2 digits. So if I have every other 2 digits, the fourth one, G and B, to be 000, and I'm having 2 digits for this R, definitely I'm getting a red spectrum in that regard. So if I should convert this same red spectrum I'm getting on our RGB to this CMYK, it's not the same color contrast. So what I'm trying to say now, let's assume I now pick eye pigment. Let me use hue. Another color word that we use for color is hue. Let me say I'm picking deep blue for example, under this RGB. And by the time they must send the printer that will print and they convert to CMYK, don't be surprised when you see whatever you want to go and print and you are seeing black on it. Because it will not give them original navy blue that you pick, deep blue that you pick, only to convert to black spectrum. That's why you also have to fetch that one as a designer that is sending the work to them. So that is that one about the color section. Other parts that I hear are just normal things, meaning that whenever you open your work, what is the type of background that you first want to see? Naturally, it's always set to white. If you don't want any background, then you can make it transparent. And if you want it to be black, you can put black on it. I rarely see people that will make the background of the design black, except you are doing some exceptional design that you want the total background to be. So that's what this one is acting on. This one is color profile. You don't need all this one. Another thing that you may work with here is this pixel ratio. But most time, whenever I want to relate with this is when I'm doing video cover. When I'm doing video cover, I came here to come and specify the because this thing that you are seeing, this DVNTSC, is form of a camera. It's some resolution on different cameras. So you can come and set something like that. But if it's just a casual design that you are doing and it's not something related, just put yourself as square pixel to one bed. You don't need to alter anything. And with this okay over here is just the template that they've already saved on your Photoshop. Probably like if you want to do a portrait picture, we already know the standard size for portrait picture is 7 by 5 inches. That's why when you go on that photo here, you always see the standard size they have. You can see the landscape. This 7 by 5 inches. The portrait one is 5 by 7 inches. You can see other portrait that they have over here. It's just a regular dimension that has been standardized that you can relate with. And if you are working with print, depending on print, we have the A4, A5, A6. So it's just like a standard setting that they've already set in place, that instead of you thinking of the exact dimension, you can just quickly go and pick most of them. But with this that we've set, okay, the other time we said we are working with 120 by 72 inch. 72. So with this, let me work with 150. So that is the way it will look like. So the moment you appear here, this is how your interface will look like. So before we proceed to explaining all these jargons that are here, the tools that you'll be using, let me quickly explain. You will see something at your right corner here. It's a setting for how your outlook of your interface will look like. So most time I used to set this to graphics design, graphic and web over here, because the first one that will come with your template is just like a safe template of how your interface will look like. You can set it yourself and put it and save it maybe under that new workspace. Probably you rearrange how everything will be on your screen. You can save it under that place so that whenever anything destabilizes with your screen, you can quickly go and click on that place so that it will set it back to where it is. So for example, now this one is under essential, which is always what used to come with screen. The minute I turn it to graphics, it will bring other structure that are not in that one before. You can see that these are some of the crucial things that I brought down. It's just the arrangement of how your interface will look like. That's what that implies. So back to what we now have over here. There's a menu section and there's a tool section over there. So I'll quickly go through this one ASAP. If there's any question, you can be noticing it down. We don't have much time. That's why I said I want to quickly go through them. So the first aspect that we have over here is file. You already know what file implies. It's just to save, bring in a new subject, and you want to bring something in, you want to send something out. But the crucial one that you need over here is your new. Probably you want to start a new project. Your open, you already have the existing project on your file. You want to bring the file in. You have your save as. Save as means that you are saving in another new form, and you have your export. All this one will relate with later. Just know that what your file entails is that you are bringing in or you are bringing out. We have under edit. Most thing that you'll be relating over here as time goes on is all these. Under this transform section, we have under where we have puppet, wrap, perspective wrap, transform, and the likes. All those those one doing does is that we use it to change. We use it to, for example, like skewed. We use it to rearrange how something stands for. When they say transform, you can say go and change the thing. But let me quickly use something on that one. For example, let me bring a picture in, and so that you can understand what I'm saying. Because I don't want to talk abstract. This class is supposed to be a practical class, but we don't have much time to our end. Okay, let me use this. Don't worry the way I get it. I will explain now. I've explained that one to you. Just follow the pattern of what I'm getting. I want to use this one to explain something. That's why I'm doing this. Are you here with your ear?
I don't hear you.
How do you get it? So what I'm explaining over here is now under this edit. I say you guys will be needing most especially what is under here, which is your fill, your stroke, your content aware, your puppet wrap, perspective wrap, free transform. You don't need all these things every time, but in some crucial places you need them. The first aspect I will explain is number one now. Sometimes you see a picture that they will send to you, and the picture of the artist that they send to you probably is Benny Esija picture. And the content event will phone. I need the person here to be straight like this. I can't cut to the person back. Probably they will send a picture that only wants it straight back because they may not have. So in my own sense, I can bring Ori and here to no sort of Ori and here see straight. That's what you do under this transform. Which first one? So most times I use this puppet wrap for that one. In most cases. That puppet wrap will put my cuff around the image. So what I just have to do is to pin. You can see this head is a little bit slant to this end. So with my puppet wrap, I can just put this is my pivot point tí mo ti fẹ́ jẹ́ kí motion yóò ti act. So this center, I've put a pin there. This is a balance that I'm using as a support over here, and this ibi tí mo ti fẹ́ move orí yẹn. So with this one, I've give my pin over there. I can click OK. Oh, sorry. Under edit, puppet wrap. The pivot point is supposed not to be here. It's supposed to be on the next side. And this is my standing point, and this one on the head. So with this one on the head, I can drag the head a little bit to this direction. So that is what we used to. We used to alter the when your that is just the small sample I can use to explain to you, but we use it in other exceptional cases. Orí rẹ̀ wọ́ ẹ fẹ́ balance orí ẹ padà sí ibi tẹ́ kó wà. Sometimes it might be the hand. For example, now I saw a portrait picture online. What I want to use to do is a gesture of probably the person is pointing to something that this is what we are promoting. But when I get the picture of where I get it, probably the hand of the person is pointing down. I can use this puppet wrap to bring the hand up in form of a direction to where I'm seeing. So that is all the summary of what puppet entails. And you can press that one. Another one that we have under that edit is perspective wrap. I don't need to show you that one. What I mean by perspective, you that you guys that you did fine art is 3D. Perspective means that perspective drawing here. If ever say CAC, I'm not doing it. CCA or fine art, meaning that you can check from the 3D angle, from the x-axis, y-axis, and z perspective. So that one, when you enter that perspective wrap, it will bring like a mesh for you. What we pass as mesh is like interval below. It's not on student man or what you want to look for. Is it 2D or 2A at that book? Follow the figure. So it will bring something like that for you. So it's showing you different perspectives. You can view your image from there or your image from there. So with that one, you can stretch your image in form of a 3D. There's no time to be showing on. But another thing I want to show is under this transform. This transform, I use it mainly most on, especially I want to one AB, this skewed, distort perspective. I use it for my text. Sometimes you'll have seen some graphic design that they design, probably they are doing happy birthday. You see them having a road background under, and you see them spreading happy birthday on the road. That the person is not standing on that one. So most especially what they do for those texts is that they use this transform, which is skewed, distort, and perspective. Because especially if you use that distort and skew, you can stretch the image. Don't let us be talking after. I don't have access to internet, so I may not get that. What is it called? I may not get that background now. But let's try to see. Let's work with a solid background. Let me return this one back to essential. And let's have a solid background. So let's assume we have a text like this. Let's change this one to another point. Let's assume we have something like this. Sorry, please, if anything is not clear to you along the way, you can let me know. So we go to that transform, and then I have skew. So with this skew, you can only skew to the right or skew to the left. I don't basically use this one. I don't like that only skew. So what I use is that I convert this brother to a smart image that I can relate with. So when I convert it there, you can also bring image in. So when I convert that one, I can use my distort or my perspective to generate. So what I just want to do down, I want it to be as if it's lay on the ground. So I can use this one to get that perspective. I'm not seeing a road concept here. As long as there's a road concept here, I will be able to structure it. Exactly. But with this is just a replica of what I'm trying to explain to us. So you can maneuver this as time goes on. Assuming we have a perfect road here, you'll have understood what I'm saying. But I think I have one design that I did on that one of the time. What's on that? Picture. Sorry. John, sorry. Okay, let's look at this design. Though this one does not fully also represent it, but let me just show us. Look at this Pastor Enoch Alamu that is here. It's still the same distance that we use for it. The name is not on that bridge before, but you wish that one to spread across it. And I think that is the major thing that shows it. Also this 8th December. But I'm looking at the one that spread on the road. But I don't think I can quickly lay hands on it here. But you shall get the concept of what I'm doing. So you can use it to manipulate how your text will look like on your design. Okay, yes, that's one example. Let me check WhatsApp. I cannot quickly see it. It's Pamela that did that. So I can't have the design on this system. Yeah, something like this. Something like this. This 2024 that was written here. So that is the same thing that they use for it, just that distort. But I think we understood that one now. So another thing that we have over here, apart from transform that will quickly express is content aware. Content aware is thank God for 2020, 2018, 2019, 2021 upward Photoshop. Because if you are still using CS6, the one that we are using then, it does not have this content aware. What content aware means that way, I use it to remove certain parts. We now say that I should be aware about surrounding it to fill up that gap. What I mean by that one is this, so that you probably understand what I'm saying. Let me bring in another image. Let's use this guy as example of what I'm saying. Looking at this image, though this one is crowded, I'm not the one that designed this one. I want to show you this. But what I just want to pick up from this here is that way. Let's assume I need this background. I don't want all this text that is on it. I need this background. You use that one most especially when you are dealing with, probably you saw one catchy background. Don't prepare, want to package it. But the mistake, okay, I want to design for me. One mistakenly the text is loading. But me, I want that background, but I'm not getting that background, but I need that background. So what I used to do is that I use content aware to remove the text to what already background away. So that text might disappear in the match while background. But this one may not work perfectly. But let's try to work it over this one. What this one now entails is that I will explain all these tools later, but let me quickly just do what I want to do. I will select round out those texts that I don't want on the stuff. So this is what transform can do that I'm trying to buttress over here. So if I right click over that one, there is a portion that is here, fill. If you go under this edit also, you can see the section I'm talking about here, which is fill stroke. So after selecting in this format, I can right click and go to that fill, or I go to content aware straight away. But when I go to that fill also, it will come back to that content aware. So let me go back to, sorry. Okay, what's it? So you can see an option that is giving me on that field. Content aware, it means that way, how did I want to fill this place? To select it. So the option I will use to fill this place is content aware. Meaning of that content aware is that way, you should look into the surrounding of where I selected. Nipo fi so nkan might be fill that portion. Assuming it's 2023 that comes with AI, that one is on fast track. You just type it, maybe remove the text and maybe the spirit technique that is on it to just vanish. But that one is coming on the page back. So if I should press OK, it will use the surrounding to fill up that inside. But do you notice why this one is not smooth? It's because it's noticing something that is close. This edge is very close to this boundary. That's why you are seeing reflection here. This thing is very close to here. That's why you are seeing reflection. But where this one is perfectly okay is when your text is not that big, but your background is wide. Let me see if we can get a picture around that here. Because I want us to get exact things around this. The problem I have is that I don't use to save background on system. The moment I used to copy and paste them. So I don't. This is not still okay, but let's use this one first. Let me see what it will do. So let's do similar things over here. Oh. So you can see that this part is okay with me. So the other part that is not okay with me, I can still come deselect this one and come back to that particular part and reselect that small part. So with that, I will get my perfect background by just removing the text from it. So that's what fill stroke of whatever we have under this guy is operating on. The other thing that you might need under this section, which I don't think you basically need that much, is just copy and cut. But that one you can do on shortcut. You know what your copy is: Ctrl C, Ctrl X, blah blah blah, and the likes. And okay, that is basically that one. So another place that we have here is image. Image, there's more cumbersome work around there, which is not something that one can explain on a daily basis. As time goes on and we are designing, that's when we can buttress most of this point. Because under this place, this adjustment lesson is something that if you are really doing the course of graphic design, you can spend up to a month, 2 months on it alone. Because that is part of what they use in color retouching, your graphics retouching and the likes, just to balance the color perspective of what you are doing. But let's quickly talk about few out of them. We have the mode. For example, now you may have set your, the other time I was talking about RGB conversion to CMYK. Now I'm designing for something that will first go on screen, because before I will relate my design with my client, before my final work is out, I will start relating with my client to view it on the screen. So then I will be designing with RGB. But let's assume the client is telling me that they want to print it in CMYK. What I just have to do is that I have to copy my design. The moment I finish my design in RGB, I can, the same design that we have over here, this same design, I can come over, okay, deselect. I can come over to this image here, and under color mode, I can change it to CMYK without affecting, you can see what it's saying. But another thing that you have to take note as a designer is that you don't do every correction that you want to do on a single design. But if you are doing with normal casual, when in a marriage space, brother mi sọ pé òun ta oúnjẹ kan níbi kan, kí wọ́n design for that, you can be doing that one. But if you are working with a corporate body like that one that familiar is doing, that is why you always see them whenever they are saving on system. Apart from original, you have original edited one, original edited two, because everything that you are changing on that design, the client may just come one of the day and ask say go back to the previous. You also put in content this year, so definitely if you have clipped everything together, design it together. But assuming you are saving on your progress level in the sense that we edited, you can quickly reverse back to the original. What I mean that one, see what this one is bringing to me. It's saying when I want to convert to CMYK, Keneka will be lost. It will convert it into private key. Meaning that if I turn it to CMYK now, return it back to RGB may not be convenient for me. So it's better I save the RGB copy and I'm using a new fresh copy from that one to convert to CMYK. So in that gap, you don't need to do special. Probably you need to start a new work before you now convert to CMYK. With this color mode over the image here, you can quickly maneuver down. So that is what the mode under this section is working about. Another one that you have to do on quick ASAP is image resize. For example, now I design on, I start my initial design on probably, let me just say 5 by 5, and probably I want it on 7 by 7 inches. So under this image size, I may quickly regulate that one because it will bring, it will bring it out for me. Sorry, or the screen below to be that. This. So the width, the height, the resolution. So from here, I can quickly check my dimension instead of going and starting a new fresh work and I'll be copying to that interface. So from under the image, I can quickly maneuver down. So but under this border, there's a big family under it, which circumstance may not make us to touch everything as for today because our time has fast spent. But let me see, I will be touching one from this section. because every of this section that you see that they group together, they work similarly, although the way they work is different. But there's no how you'll be doing your own design or you'll be doing your picture retouch that you'll be needing every of these things. It's just the one that is very crucial to you that you need to know. So let's quickly use few of those guys that stay there. Let me close this. Don't save. Close this. Don't save. And let's bring a picture in. Okay, some people asked me the other time that how am I bringing picture in? The way you can bring picture in is in two ways. Number one, just drag from wherever you are coming from your folder and just go and drop it on. But whenever you want to go and drop, don't always drop on the design platform that you want to design on like this. For example, this, when you want to design on this, let's say this is 1080 by 1080. When you bring your picture on it, let's say your picture is a portrait by one. So whenever you fix it, must shrink your array to accumulate that space. So it's always good that when you want to drop it, you drop it on this tab line so that it will form a new workspace on its own so that you can add it. And whenever you drop it, the picture is always locked. I'm coming. Let me drop one so that you see what I mean by that one. Okay. I don't know this guy, but don't mind the picture. So when you drop the picture over here, the picture is always locked over here. Check this background side. So before you can act if you do anything on this image, it will not correct until you unlock this background. So that's what I just want to stress that makes it come here. So whenever you unlock this picture will be mobile. This picture will be mobile, meaning that you can act on the picture itself. So what I don't want to do under color this image adjustment of a layer is, let me quickly explain a few of them. The most crucial one I used to use under that first section is level and brightness and contrast. But what all of them are working about is that way you want to expose light to your image. Probably you are working with image that the background is dull. You need water. Go to the kitchen and get water inside the sorry. So probably the exposure of your picture is not that bright. For example, anytime I'm notice some pictures of Moya and church, níbi orí ọ̀tá yẹn, if tí wọ́n bá ṣe proper editing fún dáadáa, tí wọ́n ṣe lighting, the place is dark, it's not that bright compared to àwọn tó bá wà èyí tó bá yà láti inú church, because inú church yẹn there's more window, so that window will bring more reflection of light. For those ones that have been shot on the stage, there's no window that is bringing light to that place. The only light they are using is the light that is coming from that top, and they don't want that camera on that. What they call on that they put on the flash? Yeah. So that is only what they use. So to now correct that one, we use this brightness, contrast, level, curve, and exposure. But let me first start from the exposure. Exposure means that way one that's what this explanation just means. So for example, it might not work on this picture. Let's look for picture that is okay. Let me use this guy. Check this picture that is a little bit black. I don't know where the snap is. Okay. So let's use this picture. You can see a little bit that this picture is a little bit in a dark setting. So if I go under my image and use my adjust and exposure, with my exposure, I'm exposing it to light. Ambient. But you see that way it's also affecting the color texture of what I'm seeing. Even though I'm exposing it, it's also affecting the outlook of the color. So definitely this guy that I'm adding must not be that too much on the picture, except to have a go back and got to oju picture me. So most time I don't even use this exposure because I don't like the way it used to reflect on image. Because only thing is 30 the outlook of my picture in this regard. So but that is what it does in essence. You can use the gamma to also correct the light. I rarely use this exposure, but I'm showing us what it does. So another aspect is curve. This curve is showing the texture in RGB. The first aspect is showing the old color spectrum. It's just a graphic section that I can just check the way the graphics look like to correct the light. If I'm going to the white direction, it will be adding white light to it. If I'm going to the black direction, it will be removing the white and moving to the black region. So that is what this curve is about. But the advantage that this one has is that you can control each of the color separately, like red separately, blue separately and green separately. What you have to just do is change the channel over here, change it to red. So this one will only be affecting the red part, and you can remove the red from the picture through this. While this one, you can change it also to whichever the one you want to change. That is how that one works. So that is what curve entails in the recents. Another one that we have over here is, which I mainly used to use, is level. Level is also showing both the white and the black part in terms of this graph. But what I like it for is that it does the work of contrast also, because contrast, it used to help us to balance that the moment you are adding light to it, you are not so losing the quality. The moment you are adding light to it, you are not losing the quality. You have to balance the quality. So whenever I add light, your light will be coming from light, because this one is working from black. You can see here black to white. So the moment I'm adding white light to this image, assuming the picture is not that bright before, I can balance it with my black pigment to make it sharp a little bit in that regard. So that is why I prefer some of the time to use this guy, level, to balance my picture. So other one that is there is just brightness and contrast. Brightness means that you are enhancing the color, and the contrast means that you are balancing. I've explained that one already in that one. Internal siloju. So that the quality will still be there. So that is why most time also I use this one to be there, because if you remove it, the contrast is just to bring out the hue of the color. You can see the difference whenever it's going down and whenever you are increasing it. So that is that one about that. But brightness means that you are exposing it to light in that regard. So they work similarly. Another aspect that we have over there is the vibrance, the hue, and the lights. So you can go and test most of this on the picture yourself, and probably as class goes on, we'll be testing other. Under this hue is just to correct color on individual. But one of the crucial one that I used to use most often there is the hue and saturation that is here. Hue and saturation. You'll have seen some of the picture that we have of pastor on flyer, that you see a dimension between the angle. We are seeing different color of suit over the time. You know this design that. People was a drone instead. But when you check today, you see the red suit. When you check another day, you see green suit. When you check another day, you see white suit. You don't let it people to go suit the other. So what we just used to do over that one is hue and saturation. Because we just change the color of the suit. Then what they do, what they fit the designs. So in that regard, for example, now let's target these clothes. The clothes that this brother is wearing over here. So I want to change over the color of that clothes. I can come here to select what the color will look like. So it has gotten the attention of that color, and I can deviate the color a little bit to the taste of. But I'm having a problem here because the face of those people is also matching this color. So there will be a problem in that bit there. So if I wanted to work on this separate region, definitely I have to select this cloth and make it a layer on its own, so that it will not be seeing the face of these people. But I don't have time to do that one now. But what I just wanted to get is that let me see the one that may normal. Okay, let's use this instead of this. Let's use the color that is not regular to it. Where is it? Let's use the tag that sister is wearing. That blue. So, do you see the tag of that one? So you can convert it now to red. Red dark. What you have to take note here is that way the color is not affecting other part of your image. But the moment you notice, like the first one that we just said that is affecting other image, you select that region and make it a new layer. So when you select that region and make it a new layer, it will not be affecting other aspects of your design. So that one, but we don't have time to be doing that one here. That's why I've just do that. But you can see now this is deep blue before, but now we have it as sky. Is it sky or light? Anyone you call it. So that is that one about what that color segment also does on your design. We also have many of them that you can deal with. Another thing on that other new section is the major one I used to use here is invert. Invert, I used to use it for anything black and white stuff. For example, listen, I ordered the Isale. When I finish my design, I want to import LinkedIn icon, Facebook icon, YouTube icon, and where I get all those icons from, they are black, and I need white. The fastest way to do it is that it must be black moment. I invert, turn it to white. So that is the fastest place I used to use that one. What I mean by that one is this. Shimolai on Combi. I use most icon because I have plugin that I use online for YouTuber here, but it's not. But let me just use this image to do that one for you so that probably. So if I go under the adjustment and invert it to turn black to white and white to.
Wow.
It will not work on an image, but it works well on icon. That's what I mean. Why this place is looking like this is because it's brand that we have there before. It's not black. So it's always good on black and white. But inversion of that color that you saw there before is this. Don't forget this place is like white before. This cloth is white. That's why you are seeing black. This jacket is black before. That you are seeing white. But the face, that is the inversion of it. So you don't need that one. So that's why I said it's mostly work for black and white in that relation. So another aspect that we have over there that you might need over time. Okay, the last part I will explain over here, you can also relate with other one. We will explain today is this shadow and highlight. Sometimes you will see some people remove background and they position the picture on another surface like this. It's always evidence to you, even you that you don't know anything about graphic design. One pay image yẹn lé orí background yẹn. But there are some background that they will remove that way. You even will be checking it twice. Even if you are a pro, you be checking it twice. No, ṣé wọ́n ya kíni ní orí the atmosphere. For example, now let's assume that somebody snap in a room and nígbà tí mo rí picture yẹn tán ṣe, the person put a ambient of United States see background there as in that building on United States money. The cloud is also shade. The first thing I first check is the height of the building to the body anyway. Because if you put picture, when you draw the normal building, take picture and see, there's a level that the height of the building will be to the body. So about the scene in that state, because me expect number one to show me as someone that understands pictures and how graphics run. Or something, no, this is edited picture. The person is not actually in UK. Now some people used to use that one to probably preach or do people. So in that regard, for example, you will have seen some picture that anyhow other people at the phone will not get you. Ilé tí ó wà ní background ní ẹ lọ orí ẹ á máa wà bí àtẹ̀fún kan cloud. People that don't understand how most of photo manipulation works, they may not know that one. So another thing I used to do anyway, another thing when I'm not seeing, okay, for example now, the picture was snapped in the sense that way there's a sun reflection. There's a sun reflection níbi tán ti ya picture yẹn. Òòrùn tàn sí apá òun tọ̀hún báyìí. But nígbà tí mo wá wo background tàn gbé picture yẹn lórí, òòrùn tàn sí ara wọ́n tó wà níbí. So what I mean that is incorrect photo manipulation. Probably if time permits us, I don't think that this class can take that one. It's under photo manipulation because òòrùn tó tàn sí ẹnìkan lásán níbi tó ti yọ níbi picture gangan must also reflect on that background. It's not you as graphic designer that have to introduce that ray of light that will spread on that one. So that one is under photo manipulation. I'm just trying to use to explain. But in one fast track that graphic designer that are not that, even those that are good, that they quickly use to balance the main image with the background so that it will not look obvious, is this shadow and highlighting. That shadow is just to create the contrast of the body. NE sí ara nǹkan tó wà níbí. So the contrast of nǹkan tó wà ní bí texture of background ṣe rí ó máa reflect lórí body ẹni náà. Let me see if there is something that can. I rarely save background. That is the problem I have. But let me try to remove this background of this picture. And let me bring in a new background.
How do you remove
We'll get there soon, sir. Let me use already saved work. Let me go and copy background from already saved work. Let me check this folder. Probably there's a background that can relate with. Okay. Èyí sì wá dàbí ìgbà tẹ̀ pé wọ́n ń gbọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ lọ́ba. Okay, let me use this one under this background here. Okay, let me just quickly use this one to explain what I want to say. So if you notice this well, naturally, even somebody that does not anything in design will know that way this picture uh, was not anything short nearby this thing, as in nearby this thing, because the height of obìnrin tó jókòó yìí lásán is equivalent is equivalent to one third body and in this picture. So if I want to say this picture is probably shot somewhere around here, I should be seeing something like this, which must be equivalent to the head size lady yi, which must be, that's another thing that you look for whenever you are simulating something of this nature. If I want to relate two pictures in this regard, their head size or as anybody wants to tóbi náà tẹ́ pé orí ẹyin nìkan wà tóbi oversize to somebody lọ, but that's not what I'm trying to portray over here. What I'm trying to show us is under the image adjustments, shadow and highlight. So depending on texture of what the background looks like, this background is not having too much ray of light, but my image is having as if iná kan tán, because ṣe ìwé studio ìkíní náà lọ yà tíbọ̀ yìí lọ yà níbẹ̀ iná tán gbé síwájú ẹ̀ white ló tàn sí níwájú orí yìí, but I'm not seeing that one reflection on the background. So for me to now balance, though it cannot be fully balanced because wọ́n ti ṣe manipulation lórí picture yìí before they forward the work, so there's no how I can fully correct this white. Though if you have farabalẹ̀ jókòó ti dáadáa for lengthy time, you can see achieving. But what we used to do, number one, we increase the highlight of this to reduce the light intensity that is coming on the body. You can see what drops over here. Iná tó tàn sí yìí. Number one, I'm reducing the highlight so that the texture, the contrast of the image will now be moving back to that of the background that we are coming from. And also the shadow, I will drop a little bit of the shadow on the body. The pigment of the shadow of that background, I'll drop it on the body. Do you notice anything? So that it will look. This one is not that way. You just be changing the fade out left and right. You have to watch what is happening to your picture and to be ensure it. And after that, if you notice this one, because the picture is perfectly cut, you don't see any traces as if there is still background around the body. Because the máa rẹ́ lómi cut the image yẹn tán ẹ sì tún spread the colour yellow around the image. So these are part of what you look for. Time has fast spent. That is under image. Layer is just the way you arrange. It's just normal thing that is happening over here. That's what layer is dealing with, which is new layer that is creating. You have the type. Type is about the text tools that you are using on the Photoshop. You have selection. You don't need those one. Another aspect that you may need is this filter, but this is also wide on its own. But the only aspect I will talk to you now about is the blur tools. For example, now this image, the way it is, if I want to make this image okay on it, is that this background will have been good to be blur. This background that is here will have been good to be blur. If I go under that filter, I can now arrange my blur. I prefer using this Gaussian blur, though most of them, all of them work similarly. But I prefer the Gaussian blur. This is what I'm trying to say. So, but I can regulate the texture of how the blur will look like. But if you do you notice anything from the background and the main subject on it? So this is mainly used to give attention of what you want people to see on your design or what you want people to first capture. Because the moment I export this thing out, the only thing I'm first giving attention to people is this guy that is standing in front of the stuff. Before people will now be sensitive that àwọn olóbìnrin kan tó jókòó lẹ́yìn tó gbé laptop lọ, the first thing that will catch their attention is this, and that is when one of the principles we talk to you about, which is hierarchy. Hierarchy means that what is the key features that you are first relating to people that you want them. So in most cases, whenever you work on your background and you notice that your background is giving too much attention, that if people will first check your graphics, the first thing about catch them is the background, not the main information that you are passing across. So some of the time it might be that probably you blur it, you change the contrast, there is a lot of manipulation that will do this, but part of it is just this blur, so that the background will not be that visible to Yeah, and most of photographer that's what they do. The moment they see that probably one fẹ́ ya ẹnìkan tó ń ṣe so the action the focus will be on ẹni tí ó ń ṣe expression yẹn gbogbo àwọn èèyàn tó wá wà ní surrounding they will blur it that's why when you check that picture output the ẹni tó ń ṣe kíní ẹnìkan ló máa wà clear for that group just to reduce the attention focus of the eyes of people when they are watching that picture so that is how that one is on a zone and I think we will explain other one later so that is that one about menu perspective. Let's stop there. But we still have these tools to explain. But let's stop there. You've learned something, you've not learned something. Let me know. Any questions?
Talking about the RGB
Yeah.
and the CMY,
Yeah.
I've been to the press before, and after the conversion that they use, they still work on the resolution. Why is it so? Second, if a graphic is being done, most especially the black colors, when you are